It makes no sense to talk about a problem if there is no solution. So is there a way out? Of course there is. The first necessity is to abandon the obsession of a standard structure of learning. And now it's very important that we understand what it means. कि जो standard structure है learning का, इसको तोड़ना. जो न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी हिंदुस्तान ने कुछ साल पहले पब्लिश की, उसमें ये एक स्टेप गवर्नमेंट ने उठाया है लर्निंग को फ्लेक्सिबल बनाने के लिए. सो यू कैन टेक क्रेडिट्स डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स के जो आपके इंटरेस्ट के हैं. इनफैक्ट इन मेनी प्लेसेस अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड देयर इज दिस क्रेडिट ट्रांसफर सिस्टम. दिस इज पॉसिबल नाउ एट मेनी प्लेसेस, एट अदर प्लेसेस. सो पीपल young, old, they learn what matters to them. Many teachers fail to get students inside their classrooms, not because they are bad teachers, but because the content they are giving the students are not interested in the content. Give them the content they are interested in, all of a sudden, sab log honge. Everyone, you will have like 100, 200. It's not very difficult to get people to learn as long as you're selling what they want to purchase. So, people young and old, they would learn whatever seems to them is genuine. Now this has two implications. One, you should give them what is really genuine. Second, if they don't think it is genuine, you should be able to tell them how it is genuine. Now the second part is which is often neglected. जो लोग ये काम करते भी है ना कि बच्चों को relevant information दो, बच्चों को अपनी करिकुलम को इंडस्ट्री के साथ सिंक करो, वो ये भूल जाते हैं कि कुछ कंटेंट है जो नेसेसरी है लेकिन बच्चों को नहीं लग रहा नेसेसरी. तो उस करिकुलम का पार्ट बनाओ उसको कि बच्चों को ये भी बताया जाए कि ये तुम्हें सीखना क्यों है और उसकी प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लीकेशंस उनको सामने दिखाएं. एंड वंस दे रियलाइज कि हाउ इट्स गोइंग टू हेल्प देम, दे आर गोइंग टू एंजॉय इट. व्हाटएवर फेल्स टू कम विद द ऑथेंटिक इम्पैक्ट ऑफ रियलिटी, whatever fails to come with this authentic impact of need is automatically and fatally rejected by every student. Make a student read something he is not interested in, he doesn't feel is needed in his real life, he is going to reject that book, come what may. In a very genuine sense, every student, आप मैं जितने भी हम हैं, हमने अपना खुद का करिकुलम बनाया होता है और हम हमेशा उसी को पढ़ते हैं. They can be Facebook posts, they can be YouTube videos, they can be Sirat or Quran, they can be history books, they can be news reports, they can be Playboy magazines, whatever it is. They can be anything. हम खुद से अपना करिकुलम हमेशा बनाते हैं और उस करिकुलम को हम हमेशा पढ़ते हैं. We never fail in it, come what may. Amber Heard और क्या नाम है उसका, उसका क्वेश्चन पूछे किसी से जो उसको फॉलो कर रहा था, एक चीज़ बताएगा क्या हुआ, उसमें you score 100 out of 100. Every one of us creates our own curriculum. And let the institutions also make curriculum the student wants to learn. Because the only curriculum that matters at the end of the day is the curriculum the student carries in his head, rather than the one he carries in his bag, the textbooks and syllabus. Hence, the great necessity is for far more flexibility in the whole treatment of children in the schools. अब ये flexibility में there is another part to it which is often neglected. That is pace of studying. हमारे यहाँ learning को वक्त के साथ sync करना पड़ता है. It should be the other way around. वक्त को learning के साथ sync करना होगा. हमारे यहाँ standards are based on age. They should be based on learning. Second standard is for the people who have reached second standard. Everyone else is in first. Third standard, now this is very difficult to accept. Why? Because we are used to a system where all of us are graduating together. But this was not always the case. Students would graduate at different times and it was okay in the society. It is very difficult to bring it back. Very difficult, because the terminology that is used is failure. But in the past, there was no exam in which you were failing, because you would only appear in the exam when you would pass it. Your teacher would give you ijaza, okay, you can move ahead now. और इजाज़त किसी को कभी भी मिल सकता था. Many reformist and experimental schemes, ये वो different schools में throughout world होती आ रही हैं. They succeed in part, they fail in part. Yet, one truth we learn from all these experiments is that there has to be certain degree of freedom with the teacher as well and the student and the institutions, जिससे वो knowledge को relevant बनाए. In a particular branch, they used to be taught current affairs as well. उनको डेली न्यूज़ पढ़ाया जाता था और वो जम के बहस करते थे क्लासरूम. And that one class used to have the maximum attendance. क्योंकि आज रात को न्यूज़ हुई होती थी, अगले दिन it would be discussed in the class, everyone is like on all guns blazing, सब लोग क्लास में प्रेजेंट है, थ्रेड बेयर डिस्कशन हो रहा है. फिर बाकी की क्लासेस का क्या हुआ अल्लाह जाने, कोई अटेंड नहीं करता था. ये जो फ्रीडम था टीचर के पास टू चूज व्हाट टू डिस्कस विद स्टूडेंट्स टुमारो, दिस वुड कीप देम अलाइव. If they are kept under a rigid log, they are destined to doom. This, however, does not mean that we stop teaching what we should, even when the students may not like it. Mathematics, for example, it needs to be taught. Certain amount of natural science needs to be taught. Literature needs to be taught. Current events भी लेकिन रखनी पड़ेंगी. Yet, it doesn't mean कि ये सबको ख़त्म करो और कुकिंग और वुड कार्विंग बच्चों को सिखाओ. No, ये भी इसका मतलब नहीं है. It only means that not everybody will learn the same mathematics. Not everyone will learn the same natural science, same literature, and that people will not always learn them in the same internal order. आप उन पे external order enforce करते हैं और उनका इंटरनल ऑर्डर उसके साथ सिंक में होता ही नहीं है. वो अभी इंटरनली वेरिएबल्स सीख रहा होता है, एक्सटर्नली आप उसको क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन पे लाए होते हैं. वो इंटरनली अभी पीस ही इज मेकिंग पीस विद mx plus c स्ट्रेट लाइंस के साथ. ही स्टिल मेकिंग पीस इनसाइड एंड यू आर टेलिंग हिम पैराबोला एंड हाइपरबोला बाहर से. कहने के बाद जो उसका खुद का पेस है अंदर से पढ़ने का, बाहर की पेस डिफरेंट है. एंड इट इज द अदर वे अराउंड. देयर आर सर्टेन स्टूडेंट्स हु आर डूइंग फर्स्ट टर्म, यू आर स्टिल टीचिंग देम कॉमन. ये भी एक इक्वली प्रॉब्लम है. वी सीम टू हैव हर्ड दैट वन मैन्स मीट इज अनदर मैन्स पॉइजन. व्हाई नॉट अप्लाई दिस विजडम हियर? एनी पर्सन्स cultural meat, the culture which he is able to assimilate, which nourishes him, depends upon his present life's interests, his status, his needs, his concerns. Let it happen to him. ये जब उसको, when he finds in the text what he has been searching for in his life, he is going to fall in love with that text. And that's why our schools must be so organized that it would be possible for our teachers and our students to be able to have this much of flexibility. उनको वो nourishment दिखनी चाहिए. That this plant requires more potassium, it should be able to get it. This plant needs more nitrogen, it should be able to get it. Same soil but different fertilizers. क्या इससे students mathematics का logic पढ़ने से परहेज करेंगे? Would it stop them from studying natural sciences? Would it stop them from social sciences? That's the question that might arise now. कैसे तो बच्चे कुछ नहीं पढ़ेंगे. ये जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं, the important thing to understand is क्या वो इस वक्त वो चीज़ें पढ़ रहे हैं? Are they mastering them now? They're not mastering them anyways. वो इस वक्त भी वो नहीं पढ़ रहे जो आप उनको पढ़ाना चाह रहे हैं. They're failing to it. Mathematics is a technique, it's a tool of thought. ये बताना है हमें हमारे बच्चों को. We do not learn to use this tool by first studying its inner structure and then applying it. We learn to use it by actually using it. कितना भी haphazard हो, कितना भी fumbling fashion हो, mathematics real life में जब student करेगा, he'll be able to learn it. और यही हर एक discipline के साथ है. इनको जिंदा करने की जरूरत है सभी साइंसेस को. To organize the schools in terms of flexibility rather than rigidity, it's not a very easy task. It's a Herculean task. It's a very difficult task. It calls for a revision of all the conventional procedures, all the instruments of knowledge which we have learned for last 1 century. Yet it can be done. It can be done, and within small spaces it can definitely be done. It has been shown that the experimental schools actually produce better subject matter than conventional schools. Our schools can turn their curriculum more towards the practical aspect of the subject. जब हम इन सारी चीज़ों को sum up करें, the net result is that schools have failed and there is something really wrong with them. The good news is it can be rectified. It's a task in which we cannot afford to accept defeat. That's the most important thing. And that's why, even if it's a chance, the chance needs to be taken.